talked about that we need independent leadership at City Hall. We need a vision for today at City Hall. We need transparency and to restore the public trust at City Hall. And you've told me that you want a mayor that will focus and prioritize the situation on taxes, public safety, and transportation. And that's why today I will share Manuel Medina's agenda for San Antonio today. You know, as we move forward, independent leadership in San Antonio is so important. And I want everyone to know, and I want everyone to hear, that I will lead a city council accountable to taxpayers. Not the city manager, not paid lobbyists, not political insiders. I will lead and be accountable to you, the taxpayers of San Antonio. I am financially and politically independent. In contrast, Mayor Ivy Taylor will raise $1 million from special interests to finance her campaign.
Taxi Taylor.
In effect, she will owe $1 million plus interest in special favors. She epitomizes a pay-to-play culture at City Hall that can best be summarized as candidates get their contributions, special interests get their special favors, and taxpayers get stuck with the bill. Taxpayers can trust me to hold the line on taxes because I'm not beholden to special interests or their pet projects. Taxpayers can count on me to question every single CPS and SALS rate increase because I believe there are already too many six-figure salaries at City Hall. And taxpayers can trust me to fight back when the establishment, when power brokers from both sides of the aisle game the system and stack the deck against taxpayers like you and me. Together, we represent independent leadership. Together, we represent a new era of local government accountable to the people. Therefore, together, we are here to announce our campaign for mayor at San Fernando Cathedral, the People's Cathedral. Now, I have a vision for San Antonio, and it's a vision for today. I talked to you briefly about independent leadership, but I'd also like to talk to you about vision. Vision for San Antonio today. Because as your mayor, I will lead our city, and I will focus on today. There's a valid concern in our community that the mayor is out of touch. That she only talks about the 1 million people that are coming to San Antonio over the next 25 years. That she only worries about SA tomorrow and SA 2020. Well, how about the 1.5 million that are already here? How about SA in 2017? How about SA today? Well, ladies and gentlemen, today, as your mayor, we're going to focus and we're going to make sure that our city employees have the equipment and the training to take care of your potholes, to take care of our bridges, that address our sidewalks, that take care of flood control, that address our parks and take care of our community and keep us safe. But we will also address, starting today, the issues that have plagued our community for too long. And they're going to continue to plague us if we don't address them today. Issues like generational poverty on the west side, institutional violence on the east side, transportation nightmares on the north side, and the lack of basic infrastructure on the south side. So I will be a mayor that addresses these issues today, and no one expects us to solve them, for us to solve them from one day to the next. But they do want a mayor that will care enough to identify the indicators, track the progress, and make a difference today. And that's the mayor that you will have with Manuel Medina, with a vision for San Antonio today. You know, have got a lot of leaders in our community that are here today, as I mentioned earlier. And we have a national leader when it comes to equality, when it comes to respect for others, when it comes to tolerance of all faiths and religion. Now I'd like to recognize Sarwat Hussain. Where are you, Sarwat? Right there. Thank you for your fight. Because, ladies and gentlemen, wherever we are from, whatever we believe in, we are all Americans, and we're going to make America stronger when we come together, like you're doing, and going to make happen. Thank you very much, Sarwat. Public trust and transparency. Because the voters want independent leadership. They want a vision for today. And they want to restore the public trust and transparency at City Hall. Manuel Medina will restore the public trust at City Hall. There's a nonpartisan culture at City Hall. That's true. But it's also true because it's both Democrats and Republicans that take their turn at gaming the system against people like you and me.
Amen. Amen.
Establishment figures on both sides of the aisle that stack the deck against you and me. And the result? City contracts and board appointments that openly go to special interests and money donors. That has to change. We're going to change it, and we're going to start today. And to talk about that, I want to share 3 specific examples that are glaring examples of that culture at City Hall. Let's talk about Vista Ridge. Vista Ridge is a project that's going to bring water from Central Texas through a pipeline to San Antonio. And in my opinion, the best case scenario, San Antonians are going to get to pay the most expensive water in America. Because that contract epitomizes special interests and insider deals. Why did this contract get fast-tracked so quickly at City Hall? $18,000 worth of contributions to Ivy Taylor, I'm sure it has something to do with it. And how much homework did she do when 6 months after the ink was dry with this contract, the company financing it went bankrupt? How much homework did she do? So that tells you that special interests and money interests are running City Hall today. And we need to change that. We all remember when Ivy Taylor appointed the board members of SAHA, the people that overlook public housing in City Hall. Coincidentally, SAHA then rented a number of her properties. A complete conflict of interest, and when the Express News wrote about it, she then pardoned herself at City Hall. That is insider baseball, inside baseball. That is the epitome of political insiders scratching political insiders back at City Hall. And we don't have to look that further back. Just look at the bond. There's a lot of good things in the bond, and a lot of good work being done with the bond. But the acts of a few compromise the good work of all of us. Take a look at Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec takes a look at all the proposals from across town to see what parks are going to get fountains, what parks are going to get maintenance, what parks are going to get sport facilities. It takes a look at all the parks that people submit and want funding for. Well, every council member gets to pick 3 appointments, make 3 appointments to this committee that looks at this and then decides and recommends to City Council. Well, Council Member Ron Nuremberg made 3 appointments. And all 3 appointments were people that are on the board of Phil Hardberger Park. So tell me, what intent and what interest were those 3 members on that Parks and Rec Commission there to do? It was not to fund your park or your park or your park. It was to fund a $15 million park, Brand Bridge at Phil Harbor Park. That is inside politics at City Hall, and that's going to change when Manuel Medina is the next mayor of the city of San Antonio. Because it is a fact that well-financed and well-connected lobbyists have a year-round access to city staff and elected officials. And it's a shame that nonprofit groups, that community organizations, and independent agencies are subject to blackout periods where they can't even talk to elected city council members. It's a shame, and we're going to change that, and we're going to change the status quo at City Hall, and we're going to make them abide by the city's code of ethics. And let me tell you, if they don't, Manuel Medina will call them out starting today. And when it comes to issues, people have told me across the city, they want us to focus on taxes, public safety, and transportation. So let's talk about that for a minute. When it comes to taxes, which is the #1 issue that people have shared with me, whether you live inside or outside the loop, you care about taxes. Whether you own a home or you rent a home, you care about taxes. Whether you make $20,000 a year or $200,000 a year, you care about taxes. And after listening to voters, the general consensus is that Ivy Taylor does not care about taxes. Ivy voted to increase your tax bill by not lowering your tax rate. She saw that your properties were being appraised at higher than ever before. And she did not care enough to lower your tax rate. Our county commissioners, and we've got to recognize them, for the last 4 years, they've lowered the tax rate because they've seen how property values have skyrocketed. But not at the city. Not with Ivy Taylor. And let me tell you.
Or Cheryl Sculler.
It will be my standing commitment to you that if your property values increase, your property rate will go down. Ivy Taylor has shown no interest in appraisal district accountability. It will be Manuel Medina that works with Republicans in Austin to rein in appraisal district accountability and make sure that they know that they work for you too. And it's Ivy Taylor that is ready to max out your credit card. Ivy Taylor is ready to max out the city's credit card. We've had bonds, ladies and gentlemen, that have been $450 million, $550 million. So why is she now asking for a record $850 million? Well, the fact is, that's the max we can borrow. It's like you getting a credit card in the mail for $5,000, and on day 1, you go into JCPenney and spending all $5,000 on clothes. We might need a lot of clothes, yes, and we need a lot of infrastructure in the city. But it is fiscally irresponsible to max out the city's credit card. So let's talk a little bit about public safety and keeping our families safe. Under the leadership of Ivy Taylor, San Antonio has become one of the most dangerous cities in America.
Absolutely.
Our 911 response times
Terrible.
are at record highs. It's been 15 years since our response rates are like they are today.
Terrible.
This week, the Express News reported how we had a record number of homicides in the city of San Antonio in 2016. Taylor does not seem to get it. She's focused on 2040. Well, for the sake of people like you and me, for our friends, family, and neighbors, I really hope that our mayor starts to focus on solving the real problem of crime in our communities today. As your mayor, I understand that it's not only about sitting together with police and fire and signing a contract. It's in working with them to make sure and assuming responsibility and keeping our families safe today. When it comes to transportation, I will be the transportation mayor. And I will get to work immediately. 3 things specifically that we could do immediately. We could fund the Race and Dina resolution that makes sure that VIA gets additional funding to increase frequency in bus routes. We will work with city staff to identify and improve drive time in the city's 50 most congested corridors. And yes, on day 1, we will begin to work on Fast Track from San Antonio to Austin. And when we get done on that, yes, we're going to build San Antonio to Monterrey. So Manuel Medina's agenda, yes, it talks about taxes. Yes, it talks about public safety. Yes, it talks about transparency. It talks about transportation. But it goes beyond that. It also, ladies and gentlemen, talks about standing up for our San Antonio valleys. Because never before we have a threat from Washington. Like never before we have a threat from Austin. But Manuel Medina will stand up for our San Antonio Valley. He will stand up for our local ordinances that protect our local environment, our water and air, and our Edwards aquifer. We will stand up for our community policing policies that work and make sure that we don't engage in racial profiling or stop and frisk or police officers to stop you to ask you for your papers. We will stand up for working families, for women's rights, for equal rights, and we will win the fight for $15 an hour. We will strengthen our economic and cultural ties with Mexico. That's right. We should be a leader when it comes to how the United States works with Mexico. But today we have no voice and we have no seat at the table. And last year, when a presidential candidate was insulting the 65% of Hispanics in San Antonio, 65% of people that live in San Antonio that are Hispanics, she said nothing. When she insulted African Americans, she said nothing. When she insulted veterans, she said nothing. When she insulted women and kids, she said nothing. But Manuel Medina, as mayor of San Antonio, will say something, and he will stand up for you, and he will stand up for families. He will stand up for the city of San Antonio and our values. Strengthening our relationship with Mexico is a priority for me. That relationship that's historical and cultural. That's between 2 friends and neighbors. That promotes tourism and investment. That makes our economy strong. I'm going to work to strengthen our economy, economic development, and creating jobs. We will level the playing field for small businesses when it comes to city contracts. Because Frank, where are you, Frank? It's not only for the big companies, but it should be small companies like yours that can win business at City Hall. Thank you, Frank, for being here. I will personally promote our local businesses nationally and internationally so that they can expand their workforce and create more jobs and sell more products. I will work to make our San Antonio airport more competitive, the prices more competitive, the service, the direct flights, so that we can be more competitive to Austin. I will invest more money and more time in our healthcare and biomedical industry that's creating a lot of our new jobs today, as is cybersecurity and cloud computing. I will work closely with our congressmen and women to make sure that our military installations and our military facilities continue to get the funding so that we continue to have good jobs here in San Antonio. I will work with our state legislatures and our state senators to make sure that we bring money from Austin for our higher learning education at Texas A&M Southside, our community colleges, and, well, UTSA. I will work with our local partners, with Barrett County elected officials, with the River Authority, to make sure that we fund the West Side and San Pedro Creeks. I will make sure that we work with our neighborhood associations to carry out their neighborhood plans because they know what's best for their communities. We will address the issue of gentrification so no homeowner loses their home because of code compliance or unscrupulous investors. We will work to respect our veterans and make sure that this is not only Military City, USA, but it's Military and Veteran City, USA. And we will do this respecting our values of helping the poor, feeding the hungry, and welcoming thy neighbor. And that's why we are here at the People's Cathedral, San Fernando Cathedral. And in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Manuel Medina. I am a leader, and I have a vision for San Antonio today. I am politically, and financially independent of special interests. I am a successful businessman, family man, and a man of faith. And with the Lord's blessing and your vote, I'll be the next mayor of the city of San Antonio. Today, I love you all. Together we will make a difference because together we are one. Together we are family. And we're going to make sure that we make this our home for today and for future generations.